Hello, I am Tracy. I am a Waggener graduate, and I now work at NASA as a flight systems engineer for the Europa Clipper mission. I decided to study engineering in school because I wanted to do something related to space. I was really into Star Trek and Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and all those things. And when you think about a spacecraft, there's a whole bunch of different things on it. You have thermal to keep it from getting too hot or too cold, telecom to communicate to the ground, attitude control to make sure it's pointing in the right direction. Flight systems engineers have to know enough about all the different things on board a spacecraft to make sure we're designing it right to work together and then actually operating it right so that when things don't go quite according to plan, we are the people who work with the team to figure out, okay, what happened? Why did that happen? What can we do about it? How do we stay on mission? Part of the job of systems engineers and many people is to make sure that you are testing the spacecraft hardware and software to ensure it's going to work together after you launch it, because these things are going millions of miles away. You can't send an astronaut to go fix it if something goes wrong with it. And so we have to think about all the things that can go wrong and then set up these tests. And for me, setting up the scripts, running those tests, looking at the data that's coming back, digging through the data to figure out what happened. Wow, that's not what we expected. What do we do about that? Like, that's really fun. It's like a mystery solving game of spacecraft design. So the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is still in orbit around Mars, and that was the very first flight project that I participated in. I worked on Juno, which for like 9 years of my life. I started 2 years before launch in 2011. It took 5 years to get to Jupiter. We put it in orbit in 2016. I stayed for another couple of years before leaving to do something else. It's still in orbit around Jupiter, an extended mission now, sending back like truly breathtaking images of that planet. The Clipper mission that I joined in 2018, that I'm the flight system engineer for now, we are launching that one in October 2024, and that's going to take another 5 years to get out to Jupiter, but study Europa, which is a moon of Jupiter. The spacecraft that I worked on that has had the most incredible, to me, impact on science has been Kepler. And that was a spacecraft, again, I was only on it for a couple of years. It launched in 2009 and spent time looking for exoplanets. A few thousand planets that have been confirmed. But the thing that is particularly amazing about that is that scientists have been able to extrapolate from that to understand how common planets are in our Milky Way galaxy. And a thing that we literally did not know before this mission is that planets are ridiculously common. I went to Westport Middle School before Waggener, one of the feeder schools for Waggener. At Waggener, I really enjoyed my teacher, Mrs. Brown. I also really enjoyed physics classes. We had a fantastic physics professor. Instead of just giving us straight physics problems and talking only about it works this way, here's the logic, and here's why, he would put everything into these weird little situations. Like when we were calculating the trajectory that something would take if you threw it off a building, he would say, you take a small furry animal and throw it off a building. How long would it have to scream before it hits the ground? And in hindsight, that sounds terrible. But for whatever reason, as a high schooler, I thought that was fun and made physics a more enjoyable class. I liked that at Waggener in particular, there were a lot of different options of things. Maybe because I was in advanced classes, I took a lot of humanities, which I think, even though around middle of high school, I was geared toward a STEM career, humanities have always still just been very important to me because they make you think about yourself and your interaction with people and what does it mean to be here on this planet and all of those things. I got a lot of value out of that. I mean, it's just the getting to know kids from your neighborhood and then from other neighborhoods and people who have a wide diversity from you, the kinds of things that you do and think about and are interested in. It was a really good environment to grow up in. I liked it.